Are you looking for charity clarity? What do I mean by that? Stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. And surprise, I'm in the woods again. But you can't tell it from here, but I am in the middle of a huge city. Very huge city in Northern Virginia. And they have this. can't make this stuff up. I just went shopping at my favorite organic market, and that I come to every other week, and I just put in maps, park near me. It was a quarter-mile away, and I found heaven. But anyway, you already know my story on how much I love nature. But look how beautiful this is, by the way. Charity clarity. What I'm referring to here is, on our spiritual path, we're always called to give. We want to give. We want to do more. We want to be of service, right? And a lot of times we can't do that financially, right? Giving to the big organizations like the Salvation Army and the Red Cross and St. Jude's and you know the regular places that we get called to, right? And a lot of people do. But there's a different way to look at it, right? Being charitable doesn't have to mean financial, right? It doesn't. And you don't have to force it either. So here's an example that something that I've come to notice recently about myself. The deeper I go spiritually, the more I align myself, the more work I do in my physical body, mental body, spiritual body. I realize that I can just be of service by being me, right? By taking care of myself. And when people come into my now space, like this beautiful girl at the supermarket I go to, the organic market that I go to, I had met her once before, months ago. And out of the blue, we just started talking, and she's from a different country, and her friend had just left. And she was feeling all alone, and she asked me to pray for her because she didn't want to, she was afraid to be all alone. She's a young girl. So I told her that I would, and I did. I said a little prayer for her, and she actually started watching my videos. But that wasn't the point, right? That was being of service, right? She asked. She was in a situation where, it wasn't comfortable for her, and she asked a total stranger for help. That's beautiful. That was me being of service. That was me being charitable. I wasn't standing on a soapbox. I wasn't trying to, preach to her or anything like that. It just happened organically. Cut to today, and I run into the same young lady, and I had to ask her. I was like, "Oh, how's life been, without your friend who left?" She's like, "Oh, he's coming back in a week." She goes, "However, how would you handle this situation?" She went into the whole scenario about how he's coming back and he's just depending on her to lift him up and get him going, to motivate him, and she doesn't feel like he cares about her. And she's like, she's trapped because she goes, "Well, here's my opportunity not to be alone again, but I don't want to be with him again." She just organically asked, and I gave her my my honest thought on the subject, if it were from my perspective, right? I didn't say this is what you need to do and you need to, oh no, he didn't. I didn't go down that road of like, what he did, what? No, girl, get away from him. I didn't do any of that. But I did ask her how much she loved herself, because her thing was, I don't want to be alone. I want to be with somebody, right? Because I need somebody to take care of me and love me. So I flipped the script on her and just asked her, how much does she love her? How much is she willing to love herself first? And then she can get into alignment with the person who's meant to come in and be in alignment so that you're on the same frequency, instead of her having to lower her vibrations to find love in the form of somebody else that she knows won't love her, who's abusing her, who's using her, right? And these are her words, they're not mine. So in that moment, I was of service. I wasn't even trying, right? It didn't cost me anything. I was buying that food anyway. But it was just beautiful. So don't look for a situation is the point of the story. Charity clarity is just being in the moment, being yourself. And as you emanate what you're emanating, other people are going to be attracted to your positive vibrations. And these are people, especially, that are going to want to elevate their own, who are looking for help, for a line, for a lifeline, just an advice or something, an inspiration to help spark them, right? To help them see clearly that their decision to change, no matter what it's going to cost them, is a good one, right? For this young lady, it means being alone for a little bit until she finds herself, and then she can open herself up truly to the love that she deserves and desires, right? That's one form of charity, right? That's the clarity of it, is not going out there seeking it, right? Not going out there and you know, we have, let me rephrase this. It is beautiful if you go to your local food bank and volunteer, if you go to local clinic and volunteer, if you know, if you watch other people's children so that they can go to work, whatever the situation is, right? Those are beautiful things. If you're giving money to the person on the street, right? But from my perspective, that's not being charitable fully. Now, it's not about getting involved in these people's lives. I love that this young lady approached me, and I'm so happy that I was able to be of service to her, but I am letting that go. I'm mentioning it to you as a form of a point of this video, for inspiration for this video. But I intend not to dwell on it or to go back and feel the need to check in on her. This is her experience to have. And that's what you have to realize. However, if there is, for instance, somebody homeless that you notice, instead of just putting a quarter in his cup or whatever, or her cup, why don't you sit beside them and say, hey, how are you today? And obviously, you know, they may be sarcastic and give you a remark, but most of them will be surprised that you sat next to them first of all. And second of all, if you just sit there and listen to their story without judgment, that's being charitable. And if there's an opportunity to help them beyond that, great. But just you sitting there, giving this person an ear, right? Or if they're hungry, right, and you're worried, you have your judgments about them, because it's going to happen, then say, what can I do for you? You're hungry. What can I go get you and bring you back, right? If you have, you know, a fear that they're going to use it for drugs or whatever, and guess what? If you give money charitably, then you shouldn't have an expectation of what they're going to use it for. If they decide to go back and get a pack of cigarettes, that's the experience they're choosing. You can either choose not to give them money or to give them money, right? But if you do it with love. And whatever they choose to do with it, that's their business. Don't have any attachments to it. Congratulate yourself for being of service. But if you've seen an opportunity to go and buy somebody a food item and just see it in that moment, right? That's why I prefer doing this organically, doing this locally. Not that I won't give to these other organizations, but I don't know where that money's going. And it's not a trust thing, but I really would like to see who's benefiting from this. Not for the sake of, look what I did, or look who I helped. I just like to know where the energy is reaching, who it's reaching. because there may be a bigger opportunity there to be of service to this person, right? That's what this is about for me. The other day I was driving through this town. I've done it a few times, but it was a different route, and I was looking for an organic market, but I keep seeing these farm signs. There was some kind of farm tour. It was a farm tour. So I guess all the local farmers were just allowing people to come in and take a look at what they do. And I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. I kept seeing them everywhere. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just stop at one just to see what's up. So I'm driving by and I go past this one, and I look back in my rearview mirror, and it happened to say equine, right? It was a horse farm. I was like, I felt the thing in my chest to pull, right? Your instinct, your guts. I'm like, no, I'm not going to that one. I'm gonna move on. So I got about a mile away, and I was just like, no, I have to go back there. I don't know what it was. There was something in there pulling me in that direction. So I did. I turned around and I went back to the place, and it turned out to be the Equine Rescue League, horse rescue. And I'm like, oh, this sounds really cool. So I went in there, and they had turned this farm tour thing into a charitable event for themselves. So they had a lot of donations. They had like a garage sale type thing, and they just said, take, if you like something, take it and give what you want. They didn't put a price tag on anything. They got all these things for free, but 100% of the proceeds were going to the care for these horses, because they also find homes and people that want to adopt these horses. But they receive these horses from seizures, right, that were taken away because of abuse, or if the owner just couldn't afford to care for the horse anymore, they bring them there. Or even if an owner passed away and there was nobody else to move these horses onto, they wind up there. So they're 100% funded, self-funded, through charitable events, and it only costs $1 a day to feed one horse, right? And that's all they're asking. You don't have $1? Of course I have $1. So I went in there. They had a bake sale going on, and I don't eat any of that stuff, but I'm like, yeah, here's a couple bucks for some cookies, right? Whether I eat them or not, no big deal. But it was just, that's how I could give back in that moment to these horses. But as I'm going through, and there's a lot of volunteers, and they're all just so eager and passionate about these horses. One girl just took me through the whole pen and introduced me to some of the horses who were out in the pens. I couldn't get to touch them or anything, or I could have, but they weren't close enough. And she's like, go ahead and walk through the rest of the paddocks. So I went through, and I'm seeing these horses, and they're telling, you can read the history of these horses. There was these two horses that were just beat up. I mean, they were so scared of humans, they're trying to rehabilitate them. There was another horse who was 30 plus years old, 33 is what they told me, but I think she was older, right? That's been with them, that they're taking care of. There were these ponies and these miniature horses. And in that moment, I was like, how can I be of service here, right? I'm going to give some money, absolutely. But to me, it was more than that. I looked at these horses, and instantly came to me, Reiki. I can channel Reiki to these beautiful horses and these animals that are here. So one by one, I went and performed Reiki or channeled Reiki, and a couple of them came up to me. I was able to pet them. Then I went back up to the barn, and this other little miniature horse, who again was another one that's 33 years old, just came up to me. His name is Buster. I'll put a picture here. Buster was very happy to see me, and she even taught me how to pet him correctly, where he wasn't afraid. And I bought a t-shirt, and it was the best afternoon of my life. It was the best afternoon of my life. I went in there with zero expectations. But that's how you can miss charity clarity, right? If you just go by somewhere and your instinct's like, oh, stop here, and you're like, no, I'm in a hurry. And I wasn't in a hurry, but still I went by. If I hadn't turned around and come back, I would have missed that beautiful blessing. that blessing for me to be of service. And those beautiful horses and those beautiful volunteers, they were being of service to me. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful afternoon, right? I gave money. You know, other people can't, but I didn't have to. But I gave, for me, a lot more than that. And it gave me way more than I gave them. And there is another opportunity there. She did ask me to reach out to her and send her some information, and I did. And I'm not expecting anything out of it, but if it's a way for me to be of further service, I'm all in. But again, it's about doing the deed, or just being there and present in that moment and recognizing it and doing it out of absolute love. No expectations of anything. But I know that it was well received too. That's charity clarity. It's very simple. You don't have to go out of your way. You don't have to, run to the soup kitchen. You can, and that's honorable and beautiful, right? Because that's face to face too. You get to see the people who you're being of service to, right? And you can interact with them. So that, those are things that I love to do. But don't miss the opportunity because you're looking for one. That's the point of this video. Charity clarity comes to you in the form of intuition and gut feeling, that when you go by a place where you see somebody, something tells you, go there, go talk to them, go help them, take that driveway, take this left instead of the right. That's charity clarity. You want to know how to be of service? Be of service to yourself by tuning in to everything that's coming at you from the divine universe that you're missing because you're in here too much, right? You have that loud music on as you're driving. Clarity won't come if you distract your mind, your soul, right? Because if you're too busy up here, you can't feel your soul, you can't hear your soul, you can't hear your guides. You're going to miss a lot of opportunities to be charitable and to receive charity. It works both ways. So I'm encouraging you to, if you're in big desire to help others, some way, shape, or form, whether it's physically, financially, monetarily, spiritually, or using your gifts, stay tuned. Everything's around you wants to come into you, but if you keep distracting yourself with the cell phone, with the internet, with the YouTube, with the Netflix, with the TV, with the news, with the radio, or everything else that's taking you out of your alignment, it's time for you to start analyzing those things and start cutting out some of those things if you really want to be charitable, and if you want to know fully how you can be of help and where you can be of best service instead of just mailing a check somewhere. So stay tuned. That's the message of this. You want charity clarity? Stay tuned, not to being charitable, not to being giving, just being tuned to all the energies that are all around you that are, in some way, shape, or form, calling you to your purpose. So, you want to know how to be clear on your purpose? Open your ears, shut down your mind, open your heart, and be open to receive. That's how it's going to come to you. And it's going to be the best day of your entire life when it does. And you're going to want it more and more, and you'll be more in tuned to receive and to give. Be charitable, my friend, to yourself first, and other opportunities will present themselves very clearly. And if you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm truly grateful for this charity, and if you need help in this realm in any way, shape, or form, some kind of coaching, it would be my honor to work with you. Here's a link to my website. Give me a shout for a free 30-minute decompression session, and let's get you back on your path to tuning in to the frequencies that are all around you, so that you can start being more charitable and more giving and more loving to yourself and to others. and have an amazing day.